It's time for playoff hockey at the Oakton Ice Arena in Park Ridge, Illinois. That's right. Game one of the CSDHL playoffs for your Pekin 10U Dragons as they take the ice here at Oakton for game one against the Vipers Hockey Club from the Squirt White 2 division. Vipers finished in third place, I think. Dragons finished in sixth, I think. So, anyway, this is a round-robin tournament. We got 3 games this weekend to decide on who's going to the big championship on Sunday afternoon. But all 3 games will be played here at Oakton. We've got this one right now. We've got another one tomorrow at 5:40 p.m. Central Time. And then I think the third one is Sunday morning at 9:30, something like that. Anyway, it's a nice cold, snowy Illinois night tonight. Chicago was nice and snowy for us when we got up here. It's a good thing I topped off my windshield washer fluid, because, boy, I tell you what, I must have used probably half of it. Anyway, enough small talk. Let's get through the roster here real quick, just so you remember who everybody is. In alphabetical order, number 19, Grayson Blevins, number 5, Sterling Burks, number 11, Easton Cook, number 7, Braxton Ports, number 6, Duncan Hill, number 48, netminder Adelina Johnson, number 16, Kian Ledbetter, number 25, Jackson McCoy, number 29, Nash Moldenhauer, number 33, Jet Nafziger, number 77, Houston Richardson, and number 12, Noah Viviano. Whoops, sorry about that. I'm sitting really close to my tripod. Pekin 10U Dragons coaching staff consists of head coach Neil Viviano, assistant coaches Chip Hill and Barry Moldenhauer, and we'll have Ryan Blevins on the bench. And I'm not sure who we got in the box today. I guess we'll figure that out when we get there. Jeepers. We're not losing by 2 yet, folks. Calm down. All right. Hopefully we don't hit that button too many times. Oh yeah, I had it written down right here the whole time. Tomorrow's game would be against the St. Jude Knights, the one at 5:40 on Saturday, and then Sunday morning's game will be against the Chicago Jets. So make sure you tune into those. For all the Pekin 10U Dragons CSDHL playoff hockey experience. Yeah, that's it. Excitement. Peoria Junior Mustangs that were in the same division as us just beat the Northern Express, the first place seed, by 1 goal in overtime. So that's why we're starting a little late here, if we are. I assume we are. I don't even know what time it is. They don't put clocks in some of these rinks, folks. Anyway, boys and girls on the 10U Dragons team went to school today and came up here. It's been a long day. Hopefully they're ready for some hockey. I know I am. Let's go ahead and rip through some of our 25-26 team sponsors for the season as we embark on our playoff run here. First on the list, hat trick sponsor, Mr. Kurt Nafziger, the coolest cousin ever from up in Minnesota. Then we have Wagenbach Builders, construction company out of Tremont since 1980. You got a project, contact Wagenbach Builders at wagenbachbuilders.com or 309-925-5205. And we got power play sponsor 2121 Sports. Let us give you an edge. Call Dan Engelbride at 309-241-0712 for professional skate sharpening, skate profiling, and skate repair. And you can also find him on Facebook. And we have Ledbetter Insurance, trusted leader in auto, homeowners, and business insurance. Contact them at 309-673-5544 or ledbetterins.com. And then we have Mr. Towitz for record service. Out of Peoria, Illinois, established in 2012, 309-360-3123 or MrTowitzRecordService.com. And of course, Mike and Sandy Robertson and Wayne Wood. All right, playoff game 1 starts now. Let's go Dragons. This is Pekin Dragons 10U AA hockey. Looks like we're gonna have Moldenauer at center, Courts and Blevins on the wing, Nafziger and Burks on defense. Addie Johnson in net. And penalty box door is still open. Ellie Moldenauer is our penalty box attendant today. I just spotted her. Good deal. They were waiting on the referee. I got you. I got too excited, folks. Now that we got the formalities straightened out, the fun can begin. Let's go Dragons! This is Pekin Dragons, NCAA hockey, and Moldy for the face-off. Blevins and Vipers break across the neutral zone over the far side, and they'll dump it in deep all the way to the far corner. Burks races back on the back wall, brings it out on the near side of the net and over to the near corner. And Vipers are there. Courts will bring it back around behind the Dragons net and off the far boards there. Vipers slam it back in across the face-off circle. Try to backhand one in, and Nafziger goes back for it. Hands it up to Courts. Got pinched on the wall there, and he's going to rush it out to the neutral zone. Back to Moldy on the near side. And down. Can't see. All right, Vipers exit the zone, and Nafziger will race back for it in the Dragon zone. Vipers advance in up the near side. Burks comes back to meet him, and Vipers break it out there, and back to Nafziger. He'll bring it back to the near side boards, and the Vipers come in after it. Nafziger at their feet there, and Vipers pass it back up to the blue line. Back to Viviano. Pass it up to Blevins and out to center ice. And he'll bust it into the Viper zone up the near side. Vipers collect it, bring it back. And Nafziger breaks out with it. Right up the slot. Sends a shot. Oh, got deflected there, or it was wide, one of the two. And Vipers send it back across over to the near side. And Vipers escape the zone. Puck comes out up the far side, and Vipers enter in with some speed. And back to Courts in the far circle there. And Vipers slammed one through the crease there over to the near corner. And confusion in front of the net. Courts busted out to Viviano, and Nafziger brings it back out of the zone. Up the near side, looking for a pass through the feet of a Viper player there, and Courts busts it through the traffic. Puck comes over the near boards, and Duncan Hill feeds it back to Courts, and Vipers carry it back out to the neutral zone. Burks and Nafziger back to defend. Hill's nipping at their heels there. Stick save, Johnson, and over to McCoy on the far corner. Left the puck behind there, and back to Nafziger. Nafziger brings it up the near side, looking for Duncan Hill, and puck comes out to the neutral zone. Back to The Vipers will send it in up the far side, and McCoy will race back for it on the back wall. Sends it around to the near side. Duncan Hill comes in to meet him. Puck got centered up there. Ooh, Richardson picked off that pass, and he'll bring it up the far boards. Dumps it out to the neutral zone, and Moldenauer's in hot pursuit. All the way down in the Viper zone. Chases them all the way back behind their net. Still going after him. And Vipers bring it out up the near side again. Moldy comes in from behind. And back to Burks. Off the near side looking for Moldy. And almost found him there. Back to Courts. Back to the Vipers. And we're back across the neutral zone again. Down to the far corner. And over to Courts. Courts carries it up the far side boards. Looking for Moldy out front. He finds him. And he's got one to beat. Moldenauer. Around some traffic. Oh, got deflected wide and over to the back wall again. And here come the Vipers. Back out to the neutral zone. And McCoy slams it back in offside. 7:59 remaining in the first period. Still scoreless. Face off in the neutral zone. Blevins at center. Cook and Ledbetter on the wing. Blevins for the face-off. Dumps it into the Vipers zone. And Vipers will skate back out across the center ice. And into the Dragon zone. Blevins brings it back out right up the near side. And down. Blevins shot. Hard angle. Oh, right for Ledbetter there in front of the crease. And Vipers bring it up the far side. Nafziger and Burks back to defend. Vipers send a shot. Kick save. Johnson over to the near corner and up the near side. Vipers send a shot in from the blue line. And Nafziger will race it down on the far side. Races it up the far side boards across the neutral zone and down into the Viper zone. And slapped it off of a Viper player. Blevins holds it in. Sends a shot up the slot. Save Vipers! 7:06 remaining in the first period. Vipers and Dragons tied at 0. Courts the center, Hill and Viviano on the wing. And Vipers send it across over the far side. McCoy held it in for a moment. We got Vipers off to the races across the neutral zone. Nafziger's in hot pursuit all the way to the back wall. And he'll carry it up the near side. All the way across the neutral zone. Pass over to Viviano on the far side, and he'll chase it down in the far corner. And Courts comes in after it. And Vipers carried back up the far side again. Back out to the neutral zone. McCoy got in the way of that, and Viviano tries to race it down, gets it over to Courts. Courts brings it in up the near side and sends a shot up the slot. Kick save, Vipers. Ooh, loose puck again. Goal, Dragons! Courts goal! 6:12 left to go in the first period. Dragons up by 1. All right, Moldenauer at center, Richardson and Blevins on the wings, Burks and McCoy on defense. Face-off at center ice, Moldy for the face-off, and Blevins holds it in the circle for a moment. He'll bust it over to the near side, and Vipers bring it up. No, they don't. Moldy, whoa, lost him. Back to Blevins. Tries to dump it into the Viper zone there, and Vipers carried across center ice, Moldenauer. Battling with some Vipers there, and he'll bring it back over to the near side. Bust it in up the near side boards there for a second. And Blevins will send it back in. Dragons can't hold the line, and Burks sends it back into a Viper player. Back to Burks again. Sends it in all the way down. Icing waved off, must have got deflected. And Vipers collected in the far corner. Over to Blevins on the near side there. Burks holds it in at the blue line. Whoa, still in the zone, and now it's not. Yeah. McCoy back to Blevins and out to the neutral zone for Moldy. Oh, that's a trip. Hey, we got a delayed penalty on the Vipers. Dragons power play, 5:08 remaining in the first period. Dragons up by 1. All right, you had to take my hoodie off. It's warm in here. Blevins at center, Moldenauer and Courts on the wing, Nafziger and Burks on defense, and Blevins for the face-off. Over to some Vipers, comes over to the near side, and Moldy back for it. Cross-ice pass to Burks from Nafziger, and Burks sends a shot, top of the circle, glove save, loose puck in the slot, and Vipers. Dave Johnson, she'll paddle it over the far side and up the far boards. And Vipers hold it in at the blue line. And puck comes over to the near side this time. Courts comes in after it, and he'll come out with it. Ooh, good for a second. And back to Blevins. Back up to Moldy, he'll tip it out. And all the way down on net. Save Vipers. They'll keep it in play, and they'll set it back to the blue line, and here comes Duncan Hill. Oh, dang. Almost. Oh, just couldn't keep it in. Back to Nafziger in the neutral zone, and up to Blevins on the near side, and we have a whistle on the play. Looks like Ledbetter's going off for 1:30, so it'll be 4-on-4 for 31 seconds. And then Dragons will be down a man for 59 after that expires. Face off in the Dragon zone. I'm going to try and zoom in for a minute there. Of course, for the face off, Vipers send a shot on goal. Right back into the slot. Easton Cook busts it up to the blue line and back to Nafziger. He'll race it over to the near side and feeds it out to the neutral zone. And Vipers erase it back across offside. 3:48 remaining in the first. 11 seconds remaining in the 4-on-4. 1:10 remaining in the Dragons' disadvantage. Penalty kill, I guess. Yeah, that's it. It's not always a disadvantage. Sometimes it is. Courts at center, Moldenauer on the wing, Nafziger and McCoy on defense, and Courts for the face-off. And he'll bust it up the far side there, and he's off to the races out in front. Right to the net. Save Vipers! Oh, tried to drag it out of the crease there, but the Vipers goalie said no. 1 minute left in the Ledbetter penalty. Vipers have a one-man advantage for the next 1 minute. 37. Yeah, 3:37 left to go in the first period. Dragons up by 1, face off in the Viper zone. Burks and McCoy on defense. Courts at center, Moldenauer on the wing. Courts for the face off. Oh, scraped it through some traffic there. Moldy tips it over to the far side, and Vipers dump it out to the neutral zone. Whoa, Vipers stole the puck there, and uh-oh. Had a collision there in front of the net, and there really wasn't much we could do about it. Vipers and Dragons tied at 1. Both teams full strength face off at center ice. Nafziger and Burks on defense, Blevins at center, Hill and Viviano on the wing. And Blevins for the face-off. Vipers win that draw. And we got a penalty on the Dragons. Looks like Duncan Hill's going to go off for 1:30 there. Got his stick tangled up in the arms of a Viper. Face off in the Dragon zone. 3:13 remaining in the first period. Vipers and Dragons tied at 1 apiece.
Let's go, Vipers!
And we'll be down a man for 1:30. Blevins at center. Viviano on the wing. Burks and Nafziger on defense. And Blevins for the face-off. Nafziger comes in after it. Passes it up the near side there. And puck got deflected back to Burks. He'll send it back up towards the blue line. Vipers hold it in. Scoop it back up the near side. And Blevins wins that battle. Comes back out to Nafziger. Moves off to the races. Go! Drags it into the Viper zone up the near side and sends a shot from the face-off circle. Got tipped off the glove and over to the far side. And Viviano races over for it. Sends it back off the far side to the back wall, and Blevins comes in after it. Sends it off the near side boards. And here come the Vipers. Nafziger and Burks back to defend. Burks will tip that over to the far side, and he'll go in after it. Oh, puck comes around to the near corner. And Blevins goes back for it. Nafziger comes in to help. And comes out to Nafziger. And he'll battle it with the referee there, and back to Viviano, and there's a line change going on, and probably too many men for the Vipers. And back across the neutral zone we come. Burks chases it down on the near side, and puck comes out to the neutral zone offside Vipers. 1:44 left to go in the first. Face off in the neutral zone. Vipers and Dragons tied at 1. 2 seconds left on the Duncan Hill penalty.
Let's go, Houston! You got to move, bud!
Courts for the face-off. And Vipers peel it in. Nafziger tries to scrape it out. And Vipers were a little too slippery for him there. Back to McCoy. Scoops it back out to the neutral zone. Go! Back to McCoy on the near side. And he'll bust it through some Vipers traffic. We got Nafziger will race back for it deep in the Dragon zone. Uh-oh. Handed it right to a Viper there, it looks like. Vipers, they lobbed one right over everybody's head. Johnson couldn't see the puck. What are the odds of that? All right, unfortunate shot there. Moldenauer at center, Courts and Richardson on the wing, McCoy and Burks on defense. And Moldy for the faceoff. And McCoy races back for it in the far corner, and he'll squeeze that out, passes it up to the blue line, and Courts busts it out across the neutral zone. Sends a shot, save, Vipers. Oh, loose puck, goal, Dragons! Nash Moldenauer goal! Vipers and Dragons tied at 2 apiece, woo! Nafziger and Burks on defense. Blevins at center. Viviano and Cook on the wing. Blevins for the faceoff. Chips it down into the Viper zone, and Vipers send it up the far side. All the way down to the goal line, and Burks gets there first. Passes it over to Nafziger, and he'll chase it over to the far side. Got stood up there almost, and Vipers send another one up the slot. And over to Viviano, back to the blue line. Viper shot off of Viviano, and he'll bring it out. And Easton Cook sends it right up the slot to the back wall there. And that's gonna just about do it for the first period of play, folks. Dragons and Vipers tied at 2 after 1 period. Game 1, CSDHL Squirt White 2 division playoffs. Both teams tied at 2 going into period 2. All right, Slapshot sponsors for the season. Mackinac IGA, friendly neighborhood grocery store with so much more. Look them up at MackinacIGA.com. Stop in to the Mackinac IGA in Mackinac, Illinois, and tell them the Pekin 10U AA Dragons sent you. Ryan Powers, attorney at law for all your needs. If you have any of those, I guess. Contact Powers Law, 309-349-3835, or you can find them on Facebook. Skin Deep Le Beauté, Adam Morton, specializing in Botox, fillers, and hair removal. You can find them on Facebook. Call them at 309-453-9997. And we're back for period 2. Game 1 of the CSDHL Division Playoffs. Moldenauer will be our centerman. Easton Cook and Grayson Blevins on the wing. Nafziger and McCoy on defense. Addie Johnson in net. This is Pekin Dragons 10U AA hockey, and the referee ain't having it. Moldy for the face-off. Chips it across the neutral zone, and Vipers will race it down on the far side. Moldenauer holds it in. And Cookie paddled it back into the traffic. Somebody shoved it up a little further there, and back to Moldenauer, and he'll chip it in all the way down to the Vipers goal line, and Vipers send it up the far side. They'll advance back to the neutral zone. And puck goes over to the near side boards, and Easton Cook tried to saucer it out. Vipers held it in, and they'll launch another one back to the back wall behind the Dragons net. Whoa, puck went through the crease, and McCoy will peel that out. Scoops it back to the blue line. Vipers hold it in, and back to Nafziger in the face-off circle. He just shot it at Moldy's head. That wasn't smart. Save, Dragons. Holy crap. Over to Blevins on the far side. And he'll send it back out to the neutral zone. Back to McCoy. Up the far side. Erases it across into the Vipers zone, and they'll chip it back out to Nafziger waiting at the center line. Sends it back in up the near side, and Blevins comes in after it. Vipers send it back out. Back to Nafziger, and he'll scoop it back up to Blevins in the neutral zone. Down into the Viper zone. Ooh, looking for a pass to Moldy there, and he'll chase it down on the near side. And still battling. Puck comes back to the neutral zone. Nafziger back to defend. And puck goes back behind the Dragons net over to McCoy on the far side. Feeds it up to Blevins. And up to Easton Cook. Easton Cook passes it to himself off the boards around a Viper player there, and offside Dragons. 10:05 remaining in the second period. The Dragons and Vipers tied at 2 apiece. Face off in the neutral zone. Courts at center, Hill and Richardson on the wing, McCoy and Burks on defense. And Courts for the face-off. Sends it into the Viper zone. And we got a whistle here. Must have been offside, I guess. I don't know. Same lineup. 10 minutes left to go in the second period, and face-off in the neutral zone. Courts for the face-off. Sends it into the Viper zone, and they'll send it right back out. Sterling Burks finds it. Sends it across the neutral zone to a Viper player, and Dragons hold it in. Back to Courts. Oh, we got a penalty on the play there, it would seem. What did he do now? What did he do? All right, Dragons are on the penalty kill again. Not sure what the call was for. Face-off down in the Dragon zone. 9:48 left to go in the second period, and we'll be shorthanded for 1:30. Courts for the face-off, and Vipers send one through the slot there over to Nafziger on the near side, and he'll bust it up the near side boards. Got taken out at the blue line, and Dragons clear the zone. Delayed penalty on the Vipers. Maybe. I don't know what happened. Now I'm confused.
Let's go, Dragons!
All right. Courts for the face-off. Back to some Vipers. Fire one up the slot, and Burks will send that over to the near side. Sends it out. Oh, up to the blue line and offside. Vipers. Nope, nope, nope. That's a penalty. Vipers penalty with 9:20 left to go in the second period. So it'll be 4-on-4 for a minute and 2 seconds. And then Dragons will have a power play for the remaining 28. Face off in the Viper zone. Let's go, boys! Let's go, Dragons! Courts at center. Moldenauer on the wing. Nafziger and Burks on defense. Oh, they got 2 in the box now. Yeah, of course, for the face-off. Oh, just Vipers peel it over the near side, and they'll send it across the blue line and down. That rolls all the way to the back wall. Nafziger gets there first. Comes around the back of the net with some speed and dangles some Viper players there. All the way down up the near side. And he'll stop at the top of the face-off circle. Back to Moldenauer, the blue line. Sends a shot, and that's wide. Gets deflected off of a Viper player's glove there, and Dragons hold it in for a second. Back to Nafziger in the Dragon zone. Sends it up the near side to a Viper. And Vipers enter in. Delayed penalty on the Dragons, it would seem. All right. Now we got 2 in the box. Sterling Burks will go off for a minute 30. 4-on-3 for 21 seconds. Then we get Duncan back. So it'll be 4-on-4 for 54 seconds. I don't know. Here, you guys can see the scoreboard, right? '33's Daddy, sponsored by a warm 20-ounce bottle of Mountain Dew from the Dwight Casey's in Dwight, Illinois. Thanks for keeping track, ladies and gentlemen. Courts for the face-off, and he'll send it up to himself and scoops it out across the neutral zone, and he's in a foot race for it. Whoa, puck goes out of play there. And we'll have a face-off in the neutral zone. McCoy and Nafziger on defense. Courts at center, and Courts for the face-off. Sends it into the Viper zone, and they'll send it back to McCoy. And he'll send it in deep, all the way to the back wall. Courts comes in after him, and almost stole that. Vipers send it up the near side. Courts comes in after it. Stole the puck for a second there, and Nafziger's going to race it down deep in the Dragon zone. Back behind the Dragon's net. Let's go! And Nafziger sends a shot. Whoop, loose puck, Nafziger. Oh, tried to get it behind the feet of the netminder there. Courts comes in after it. And back to the neutral zone. Vipers got our guy back, and McCoy races it down deep in the Dragon zone. Sends it over to the near side. And Nafziger tips that to the back wall. Puck's loose. Vipers Tried to send one into the crease, and Blevins says, get that out of here. Vipers send it back into the far corner, and McCoy will go back for it. Sends it off the far boards, looking for Moldenauer, and he finds him. Ships it out to the neutral zone, and Vipers send it back in on net. Save Johnson! Back to McCoy on the back wall. Sends it up the far side. And Blevins peels it out to Moldenauer, and Moldenauer is off to the races across the neutral zone. Got 3 Vipers on him. And he'll chase it down. And still working for it. Back to Duncan Hill. And through it. Ooh! Almost came out to Blevins waiting in front of the net. Get the puck! Back to the Vipers. Coming across the neutral zone, 2-on-1. Nafziger back to defend. Send a shot. McCoy got in the way of that. And over to the far boards. McCoy scoops it out. Back to Duncan Hill. And back to Moldy. Yeah. Skates it across the neutral zone and all the way down. Ooh, just wide of the net there. Lost track of it for a second and over to the far side. Vipers get there first. Back to McCoy at the blue line. Vipers squeak it out. Nafziger back to defend. And he'll chip that over to the far side. Puck comes out to McCoy. And over to the near side boards. Blevins racing for it. Back to McCoy again. Oh, Vipers picked him off. Nafziger back to defend. Strips that puck. Puck's loosened some feet there, and nobody can control it. Back to McCoy on the back wall, and we'll settle it down. No, we won't. And Blevins clears the zone all the way down. No icing, and Vipers get there first. Racing around the back of their net and over to the far side. Courts comes in after it, turns it around, top of the face-off circle. Woo! Sends a shot just wide, and Pekin Hill. Back to Blevins. Backhand. Ow! Courts races it down, sends it back into the slot. And Duncan Hill got a shot there. Save Vipers over to the far boards, and Hill. Uh-oh. Yeah, Courts holds it in at the top of the face-off circle. Sends a shot. Oh! And Blevins had a rebounder shot there. And whoa! Oh, man, that one went right under the goaltender. Whoa! Burks back to defend. And Courts comes in, steals that puck, brings it off the near side. And he went down on the near boards there. And looks like we got a Vipers penalty. With 4:19 left to go in the second period. Vipers and Dragons tied at 2. Face off in the Vipers zone. Looks like we're gonna have Moldenauer at center, Richardson and Courts on the wings. Nope. Viviano and Courts on the wing. Burks and McCoy on defense, and Moldy for the face-off. Puck goes over to the near side, and Moldy battles it into the slot. Viviano's trying to race it down on the far side, and he'll pass it to himself off the glass, sends it a little further into the zone, and Vipers bring it around the other side of their net. Vipers pass it up and out of the zone. Courts comes in at their feet there, and Vipers hold it in. Courts, oh, just couldn't get a stick on it, over to the near side, and McCoy will scoop it out of the zone. Moldy's in a foot race for it, and he might win. All the way down, and they'll send it. Vipers send it back up the near side. Courts back to McCoy. And McCoy up to Moldenauer. Oh, just couldn't handle it. And puck goes over to the far side. Viviano trying to race it down. Vipers send it out. Back to Burks in the neutral zone. Sends it back down in, and Dragons are offside. 30 seconds remaining in the Vipers penalty. 3:18 left to go in the second period. Still tied at 2. Face off in the neutral zone. My mouth is getting dry. I'm thirsty. Blevins for the face-off over Richardson, and Richardson battles it over to the far side, sends it in a little deeper there, and Vipers will send it back behind their net. Bring it over to the near side. Blevins comes in after it. McCoy holds it in, back to Blevins. And Vipers back to Cookie. Sends it off the near side, over to Blevins. And he'll race it down. Whoa, around to everybody. Sends a shot. Oh, save Vipers. He got robbed. That was point blank. Back to Nafziger. Through the face-off circle and crease. And over to Blevins. Back to McCoy at the blue line. Bombs one over to Richardson. And that puck goes back to the far corner. Back to Nafziger at the blue line. Sends it back in. And Vipers get there first. Back to Cookie. Sends a shot. And Vipers pick that off. Looks like we got a delayed penalty on Richardson there. And I don't know what's going to happen here. Let's see. I see Easton Cook and Houston Richardson going off. All right. 5-on-3 for a minute 30, I think. Courts at center. Nafziger and Burks on defense, and Courts for the face-off. Chips it through everybody, and he's chasing after it. Back to Nafziger. Brings it over the far boards there. Vipers hold it in. Send a shot through some traffic. Kick save, Johnson. And back to Burks. Back to the Vipers. Send a shot off of Nafziger's hip there, and whoa. Puck comes over to the near side. Vipers send it in a little deeper. Nafziger breaks that up. Back to Courts and lost it in escape. Oh, pokes it out to the neutral zone. And he's off to the races. Courts breakaway. Goal! Dragons! Short-handed goal, Braxton Courts. Dragons up by 1. Let's go, Dragons! 48 seconds left in the 5-on-3 penalty kill. Face off at center ice. Courts for the face-off. Back to Burks. He'll chip it into the Viper zone, and they'll call icing on that. Face off down in the Viper zone. 42 seconds left on the penalty kill. 1:20 left in the second period. Dragons up by 1 again. Courts at center. McCoy and Burks on defense. Yep. Courts for the face-off, and puck comes over to the far side. Vipers send a shot through the slot there. Got lost in some commotion, and Courts sends it off the near side boards. Vipers, whoa, send a shot through the slot there. Save Johnson! 57.8 left to go in the second period. 19 seconds left in the 5-on-3 penalty kill. And course for the face-off. Over to Nafziger. Stole it from some Vipers players, and he's off to the races across the neutral zone. Offside. Dang it. 49.2 left to go in the second. Dragons up by 1. 10 seconds left to go in the 5-on-3 penalty kill. And face-off in the neutral zone. Blevins at center. Nafziger and McCoy on defense. And Blevins for the face-off. Puck comes over to the near side. McCoy's in a foot race for it. And Vipers bring it in. Nafziger got in the way of that, and he'll chase it behind the net. Oh, just couldn't control it there. Save! Johnson! Caught it in the mitt. 21.3 left to go in the second. Both teams full strength. For now. And Moldenauer for the face-off. Courts and Blevins on the wing. Moldy for the face-off. Over to Braxton Courts, and he'll send it out to the neutral zone. Oh, false whistle there. I think he was going to call offside, but it wasn't over the line. Almost, not quite. Moldy for the face-off. And over the Courts. Back to Nafziger. Sends it across the neutral zone. Vipers collect. Cross-ice pass there, and back to Moldenauer at center ice. Turns it around. Whoop. And that's going to do it for the second period of play, folks. Dragons up by 1 after 2 periods in regulation of game number 1 of the CSDHL Squirt White 2 division playoffs. Let's get through the rest of these sponsors here. SL Audio and Lighting, established in 2018 out of Morton, Illinois. Professional sound and lighting for live music and events. You can find them on Facebook or call Scotty Lawless at 309-349-6308. And then we have Todd's Touch Lawn Care out of Bellevue, servicing the whole Peoria area. 309-657-0995 for all your lawn care needs. And as always, and of course, Sean and Lori Garrett, John King, House of Kyler, Jim and Sue Nafziger, Mark and Sue Wells, and Jason Jones approves. Thanks for your sponsorships to everybody this season. Thanks to everyone for watching. All right, Nafziger and Burks on defense. Courts at center, Hill and Viviano on the wings. And period 3 starts now. This is Pekin Dragons 10 UAA hockey. Courts for the face-off. Chips it across the neutral zone. And Vipers send it back to Nafziger. They'll scoop it off the far side. Back to Viviano and then Courts. And Courts fed it up for Viviano. He'll paddle it in up the far side into the Viper zone. And Duncan Hill gets in the way there, and puck comes over to the far side. Here come the Vipers. Back into the Dragon zone. Burke stops that shot, feeds it back to Courts, and Courts sends it off the near side, trying to feed it out. Duncan Hill bounced it back to the back wall there, and back to Sterling Burks. Sends it out of the zone, up to Courts. And he's in a foot race for it. And all the way to the back wall. Puck's loose in front of the net there. And Viviano picked off the pass. Sends it in up the near side, back into the Viper zone. And he'll hold it in. Carries it in a little deeper. All the way to the near corner. Ooh, fed one off the side of the net there, and puck's still loose. Getting in the way of all the Vipers there, and Burks will stop that in the neutral zone. Trying to buy himself some time. Gets it back to Viviano. Turns it around in the neutral zone, and off the far side boards. Vipers send it back out. And Burks will collect it. Races it across the neutral zone there. Sends it into the Viper zone deep. All the way to the far corner, and Moldy comes in after it. Vipers send it off the near side. Back to Nafziger. Sends it back to the back wall. And Vipers send it up the near side boards and all the way down. That should be an icing call. And nope, not enough gas. Back to Burks. Skates it around the back of the Dragons net. Back to Blevins looking for Cook. And, lost it in the foot. There's Nafziger. He'll pick it back up. Skates it in the Viper zone. Sends a shot. Wow, loose puck in the slot. And it's still loose. And it's still loose. And Nafziger couldn't get a stick on it there. And he'll send it off the back wall. Blevins will race back for it. Over on the far corner. And
Stop playing, Pete! Get up there! You ain't got pressure!
back to Cookie and back to Moldenauer. Through all the Vipers line change and down into their zone. And back up the near side. Back to Blevins in the neutral zone. Fed it out for Moldy in front. Oh! And back to a Viper on the far side. They'll skate it back out. McCoy gets in the way of that. And back to Blevins. And off the near side, Vipers hold it in. And back to Nafziger, and he'll skate it back out to the neutral zone, all the way down to the Viper zone. Just tried to, couldn't feed it out in front of the net there, apparently. Went across the back wall and over to the far side. Courts sends a shot wide and over to the near side. And back to Nafziger in the neutral zone. Fed it to Courts. Over to McCoy. And he'll enter it in. Cuts into the net. Oh, save Vipers. And back to the Vipers, bringing it back out the neutral zone up the far side. And McCoy holds it in the neutral zone. Vipers send it all the way down. Nafziger gets there first. Brings it around the back wall. Bangles a couple of Vipers, but not enough, and puck goes back to the back wall, and McCoy will send it off the near side. Get the puck out! And back to Courts. And Ledbetter's in a foot race for it. Down in the Viper zone. Ooh, just couldn't hold it in at the blue line. And Vipers race it in, send a shot. Oh, looks like that one off the post. Maybe the crossbar. Vipers hold it in, send another shot. Glove save, Burks. High sticking call, it looks like. And we'll have a face-off at center ice.
Let's go, Houston!
7 minutes and 7 seconds remaining in regulation. Moldenauer at center, Viviano and Richardson on the wing. Moldy for the face-off.
Are you kidding me?
And Vipers race it in. Send a shot wide and over to the near side. Back to Vipers. And we got a delayed penalty on the Dragons, it would seem. Richardson looks like he's going off for a minute 30. Face off in the Dragon zone.
Play smart, Pekin, let's go!
Moldy at center, Viviano on the wing, Burks and Nafziger on defense.
Let's go,
Moldy for the face-off.
G!
Vipers send one wide and over off the back wall. They sent a shot off of Viviano and it went to the... back to Burks, he'll stop that shot. And carries it back out to the neutral zone. feeds it up for Viviano, and he'll race it into the Viper zone off the far side. Puck goes all the way to the back wall in the Viper zone, and they'll send it over to the near side boards. Vipers get there first, and back to Burks at center ice, and Vipers race it in up the far side. Nafziger dangles one Viper, two Vipers, and Blevins all the way across. Up the far side and send one off the side of the net. Goes around the back of the net and Blevins was there. Just went a little too far out for him. Back to Burks and Vipers go! Vipers off to the races up the far side. And Blevins picks off that pass, sends it off the far side boards, and he'll carry it. He'll fed it up to Quartz. Quartz races across the neutral zone, and he's at the front. Sends a shot. Goal! Goal, Dragons! Dragons up by 2. Short-handed goal, Braxton Quartz. 5:26 left to go in regulation. Quartz the center, Blevins on the wing, and McCoy and Burks on defense. Over to the near side, McCoy sends it up the boards there. Vipers try to turn it around. Quartz comes out with it, and across the neutral zone again. Down into the Viper zone, back to Blevins. Fed it over to the near side this time, and Vipers will get there first. Both teams should be full strength, and Vipers bring it up the near side, cross ice pass, and they're out in front. Save Johnson! Get the puck! Found another one on loose puck. Save Johnson again, and off the back wall. And Burks sends it over into the near corner. Grayson Blevins chasing after it. And Blevins clears it out to the neutral zone. Vipers send it back into Blevins again. And he'll pass it up to Moldenauer. Ooh, let it get out ahead of him. No, he didn't. He held it in. And Vipers bring it over to the near side. Clock rolls down to 4:15 left in regulation. And Vipers battle it in up the near side. Ooh, that one goes wide through McCoy's feet there and over to the far side for Blevins. And he went down. And McCoy dances up the far boards. Down into the Viper zone, right up the side. And we've got a whistle on the play.
Bad call!
3:53 remaining in regulation. Dragons up by 2, and players are on their knees for some reason. I think the face-off ought to be down there. What are we doing? All right, Quartz at center, Hill and Viviano on the wings, Nafziger and Burks on defense.
Let's go,
3:53 left to go in regulation. Dragons up by 2. Nope, nope. Viviano for the face-off. Sends it across the neutral zone. Vipers send it off the near side. Back to Burks. Burks back up to Hill. And back to Viviano. Hill race it in up the near side. Hill comes in after it. And it's like Quartz held it in for a second. Here come the Vipers. Back across the neutral zone. And Burks sends it back out to the neutral zone again. Vipers advance back in. Charge up the slot there. Puck comes off to Quartz. And he'll send it around the back of the Dragons net over to the far side. Races it up off some Vipers there, and Viviano races it up the far boards, across the neutral zone, down into the Viper zone. And Nefziger got in the way of that advancement. Back to the Vipers. Get back! Vipers send a shot. Save Johnson. Kicks it over to the back wall. And Nefziger will scoop that up. Sends it off the far boards. Vipers send it back in deep. And they'll send one into the slot. Puck's loose. And Burks sends it over to the far side. Vipers send another shot through the crease over to the near corner. Court sends it up the near side. And back to Burks. Goalie's out, goalie's out. Empty net, Vipers. Empty net. Get it out. All right, Courts sends it off the near side. And they'll chase it down. Sends it off the far boards there. Vipers coming after it. Nefziger getting away of that. Back to Burks. Back to Nefziger. With the puck. Woo! That one went over the net. Good night. And puck's loose in the slot. No goal. Save Johnson. Over to the far side. Dragons through the gas. Nefziger. Oh, lost the puck there. Got dove into. And Burks sends it off the back wall. Nefziger. Oh, nope. Slipped past him. Get the puck. 1 minute left to go in regulation. Save Johnson! 57.3 remaining in regulation. Dragons up by 2. And we'll have a face-off in the Dragon zone. Vipers net is empty. And we'll have a timeout. Go Dragons! 57.3 left on the clock. Dragons up by 2. Face off in the Dragon zone. Empty net Vipers. They'll have a sixth skater on the ice. All right, Nefziger and Moldy on defense. Courts at center, Blevins on the wing, and Viviano. Okay, Blevins will take the face off. And Blevins for the face off. Up to a Viper at the blue line, sends a shot. That got deflected. Save Johnson over to the near side. And Courts, almost had it. Brings it out to the neutral zone, and the Vipers send it cross ice to the far side. Try to race it across the neutral zone there. Nefziger got in the way of that. And offside Vipers. 33.5 left to go in regulation. Dragons up by 2. Face off in the neutral zone. Ledbetter and Courts on the wing. Blevins at center. Moldenauer and Nefziger on defense. Blevins for the face-off. Over the far side. Blevins knocks it back out. Court ships it across the neutral zone. Vipers send it back in. And Moldenhauer chases it down on the far side. Whoa, passed it to himself twice. And all the way down. Empty net. Oh, just wide. Just like an inch off the post. 14.3 left to go. Icing has been called. Face off down in the Dragon zone. That was close. All right. Same lineup, I think. Blevins for the face-off. Puck's lost in the commotion. Glove save, Johnson. 6.4 left to go in regulation. Dragons up by 2. All right. Ledbetter and Cook on the wings. Courts at center. Moldenhauer and Nassiger under fits. And Courts for the face-off. Save Johnson over to Moldy in the far corner. That's gonna do it, folks. Dragons victorious in Game 1 of the CSDHL playoff. And we'll be back tomorrow for Game 2 against the St. Jude Knights at 5:40 p.m. Dragons and Vipers line up at center ice for the celebratory fist bump. As the Dragons put some points on the board going into Game 2 tomorrow night, I'm sorry. Well, anyway, drive safe out there, stay warm. We'll be back at 5:40 tomorrow afternoon, or roughly thereafter.
Good job, Pekin!
And thanks again for watching, folks. This is 33's Daddy. I'll be signing off till tomorrow. Let's go, Dragons!